Okay, so how does spirit communication really work? I mean, when we're talking about spirit communication, this is a subset of a whole bunch of abilities which transcend 3D space-time, you could say. Okay, so the ability to communicate spirits depends on the same conditions and circumstances as remote viewing, out-of-body travels, divination, okay, so extracting information from a distance, influence, spell casting, okay, evocation, all of these things depend on the same condition, which is necessary for ESP, okay, let's call that ESP, and that's a heart-brain coherence. Okay, let me define that. What is a heart-brain coherence? A heart-brain coherence means that the activity of the heart, which is has a massive energy field, and the brain, which has another energy field, both of those are synchronized. What happens at that point is that the person begins to perceive beyond the electromagnetic spectrum that is part of visible light and outside of space-time. Okay, so you cross beyond the speed of light, and you can perceive things in the future, in the past, and distance is irrelevant. Okay, so that's why you can communicate with spirits that are at a very, very high frequency. Okay, so spirits exist at a very, very high frequency in a sense where they're not physical, so they're not dense. They must vibrate much quicker than physical matter. Your eyes and all other physical senses are built to pick up things in the physical world, things that are solid and dense. Now, when you go into this heart-brain coherence, you can pick up things that are at a more subtle level, and you can also influence things that are at a more subtle level. Okay, everything that happens in the physical world is the result of activity and movements of energy and the change of energy fields on this more subtle level that you can access when you get into heart-brain coherence. Now, once you hit heart-brain coherence, which happens through certain meditative techniques, you can then use your intention to do those manipulations, meaning you can extract things, you can take your consciousness somewhere else where you can perceive things, not just in the physical, but different dimensions, the astral plane and beyond that, right? You can communicate with beings that are not in the physical world, and you can ask them to change things for you in the physical world. You can also influence people and the subconscious mind of individuals through this connection. Why? Because see, when we attain heart-brain coherence, the frequency is around 7.83 hertz. Okay. Now, there's something called a Schumann resonance. Okay, a Schumann resonance that's named after the person that first formulated that. That was a scientist, and he figured out the frequency of the Earth essentially. Okay. And what is the heartbeat rhythm of the Earth, essentially? It's the same, 7.83 hertz, the so-called Schumann resonance. So, as you know, there's an electromagnetic static between the surface of the Earth and the atmosphere. I mean, if you want to be really, really precise, I'm talking about the stratosphere, which is part of the atmosphere, different layer, right? Now, between the surface of the Earth and this atmosphere, you have electrical charges. You know, once in a while, the charge is very, very high. And that's where you see lightning bolts, right? And there's also a grid of energy all across the globe, which has been called ley lines. It's essentially the meridian lines of the Earth. We have them too in our bodies. Earth has them as well, right? So this is why you have sacred sites on certain points, because this is where a lot of meridians or ley lines intersect and create like vortexes of energy where it's very easy to affect things at a large scale, right? Now, when you get into this heart-brain coherence, you sync up with this atmosphere. So now you understand why it is possible that when you are in this right state of consciousness and have an intention to affect someone, to influence someone, you can do that nearly instantaneously. It's not completely instantaneous, it's like 0.7 seconds. But any kind of intention travels at that speed to any point on Earth. So you could be here, wherever you are, and your target is on a different continent. You could go into this heart-brain coherence and really focus on a specific intention. And this intention is going to travel using this connection. It's kind of like a spiritual Wi-Fi, so to speak. And you can send intentions instantaneously. Now, remember, that person is not going to be, most likely not going to be in this elevated heart-brain coherence state. So they're not conscious of this influence, but it's still going to affect them. It's going to affect their unconscious mind. And if you know anything about the decision-making processes, the subconscious runs this show. Many seconds before an intention, a decision pops into your conscious awareness, your subconscious has made that decision. You can actually measure that. So what is the subconscious mind? The subconscious mind is essentially the aura of the person. Really, it really is. So you having the ability to step into this heart-brain coherence, linking up with the atmosphere and the energy system of the Earth, and intending and wishing and willing something into existence, you can bring it to you. You can create it, but you can also influence somebody's aura. And that is then going to be a command that is going to make them take certain actions. Now, this applies to literally everything that we do in magic or witchcraft, or I don't even want to call it like that, because it's just a science that is not really understood yet. So even when you communicate with a spirit, that is necessary, because they operate throughout the atmosphere. This is why when you call a spirit, the pressure in the room changes, because they're really about manipulating this atmosphere as well. They have to, right? So this Sunday on the 28th, if you want to learn more about this, and if you want to master this heart-brain coherence, which is the access point to all ESP, extrasensory perception, which, like I said, is the basis for any kind of divination, meaning tarot, remote viewing, looking into the future, looking into different timelines, changing timelines, communicating with spirits, what you want. All of that is based on heart-brain coherence. Now, this Sunday on the 28th at, it's going to be 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern time. 3 p.m. Eastern time, that's going to be what we're going to cover on the seminar is how to master ESP. Okay, so we're not just going to talk about how to get into this heart-brain coherence reliably, right? But on top of that, of course, I'm going to show you how to navigate those states and how to work with that state. Okay, so if you have interest in being part of the seminar, there are links in the description under this video. My Facebook profile, the Grail of the Serpent email address, and also my Instagram account. Okay, so message me to either all three of them or any one of those, and I'll get back to you on doing the seminar. It's either me that's going to get back to you or somebody from my team. Okay, so if you want to be part of the seminar, request to be part of the seminar, and then we're going to discuss the details. It's going to be on Zoom, and of course, you're going to get a recording that you have lifetime access to. And of course, there's going to be documents that summarize all of it, so you have your notes as well. Okay, so if you want to master ESP, extrasensory perception, which is the basis for everything that we do, message me, and if we got a space left, you can be part of it. Now, please understand, you could master 1,000 systems intellectually. I'm talking about magical systems. I'm talking about the theory behind magic. Well, in fact, it's super easy to become an armchair magician these days. It's super easy. Actually, it's very common. Most people in the occult are armchair magicians. They don't get results. They're all full of shit. They're just talking, trying to look scary. Ooh, right? You know, that's what they do. In fact, I don't want to talk shit about people here, so let's keep this clean. But unless you master that, your magic has no power. So ESP is extremely important. How to get there, how to do it. There's a sequence, there's a step. And I'm really the first one that is breaking it down in very, very detailed steps. By now I have trained thousands of people to access those abilities. And I'm the only one that gets testimonials. Really good testimonials. Okay, that should tell you something too. So whatever you're going to learn there is high quality. So you're invited to be there, and maybe we'll see each other on that seminar. Message me. Peace.